It is March 2024, and this is your monthly horoscope. Again, coming to you from Barcelona. This is Ophi. And March, I don't know where that expression that it comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb comes from. It definitely goes out like a lamb because it ends with Aries season, which is the ram. But a lion is hardly the energy of the dreamy Pisces season that always begins March in the astrological calendar. So, Pisces is the very last zodiac sign, and it is the ruler of healing and dreams and the imagination and the subconscious. It's the astrological elderhood. And it's a time when we kind of sort the crops of the last astrological year because in Western astrology, which is based on seasons, the astrological calendar resets at the spring equinox, which is around March 19th, 20th, 21st, the start of Aries season. So this year, Aries season begins March 19th, and we are in Pisces in the watery depths of that realm. So for the first 3 weeks of the month, you really want to focus on healing and releasing and just kind of listening, receiving, being, not forcing anything, but being in that kind of magical realm and looking at what the universe wants to offer you, bring you, rather than what you want to put into the universe. So there are times when it's better to receive and download and be still, and then times for action. That's what I love about astrology. One of the many things, it just helps you regulate your energy. We can't be on all the time. One of my Aries friends, Bronwyn, are you listening today, always talks about the productivity cult. And it's true, in the Western world, we do live in one, and we prize productivity. It's a wonderful thing. I'm the daughter of an immigrant. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a Capricorn rising. I love to be productive. It feels so good to just, master something and go out there and just express it in the universe. But we can't have that without the opposite, without resting and receiving. And some of us are better at that than others. Most of us are pretty lopsided the way we're wired. So if you're beating yourself up for being too much of a productivity cult person or not enough of one, that is absolutely not the goal here either. Astrology is just an opportunity, and the opportunity of March is to pace yourself, be in the flow of Pisces so that when the energy is more favorable to go, 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 starting March 19th, you will be properly refreshed. So perfect timing. I'm by the sea in Barcelona leading a retreat, and we are getting ready to open up our Become Your Own Astrologer 8-week certification and birth chart mastery course. So if you happen to be listening to this podcast and it's not yet midnight on March 3rd in New York City, then please run, don't walk to astrostyle.com/BYOA. That stands for Become Your Own Astrologer. And check out the program. It's the only time we're going to be doing it this year. We are sharing our birth chart secrets and teaching you how to fluently and conversationally read an astrology chart in a way that you can retain and actually explain to someone else. Here in Spain, for example, if I could speak fluent Spanish, I could get along and around a lot better. I'm relying on what I remember from high school and various trips to Mexico and patches of my life. So, I'm doing my best to be a native in Spain because I love it here, but it ain't quite happening. And astrology is a language just like that. So if you want to, learn to speak astrology so you can live in this age of Aquarius galaxy, and really rock it out, then come on and join us for this adventure. It's the only time we're teaching it this year and maybe ever, because that's how we roll. We don't know what next year is going to look like. So join us, and we would love to teach you our 30 years of secrets and mastery of the stars. So now let's get into your horoscope. So We are in Pisces season. We have a Pisces new moon on March 10th. It's a super moon, and that is going to really open up the channels for us to do some divine downloading. For the first time in our lives, we have both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces at the same time as the sun. So that's very interesting because, as we explain in Becoming Your Own Astrologer and in our teachings, the planets are like the actors in the movie of your life. So these actors are all very different. We have Saturn, which is kind of like I don't know, I'm thinking of like a serious character, like, I don't know, the stoic, like Kevin Costner, or maybe, um, one of those Shakespearean trained actors who, is dedicated to their craft. And then we have Neptune as this like flowy, bohemian kind of like, I don't know, Kate Hudson in her younger years, or, someone who's kind of the ditzy but lovable person who actually has all the secrets of the universe and is underestimated because they're not so good at living in the 3D world. And then we have the sun, which is the main character of our lives. So that's kind of like maybe the Tom Cruise at any phase of his career, where he kind of like strides on stage and is like, I've arrived. It's all about me. So we've got the sun, Saturn, and Neptune all in Pisces for the first 3 weeks of the month, sharing the stage. And how will that look in your life? Well, you want to look at where the main themes, what you're really up to, what your true purpose is, your essence, uh, how it can be supported with structure by Saturn, but where it also needs some imagination and magic put in. And that's going to be brought to you by Neptune. So, can we find that beautiful brew of planning and structuring, and also just being able to pivot because the universe has whispered some divine secret in our ear? Have you ever noticed that when you're in a sense of lack, for example, and you're just like, if only someone would come along and rescue me. And then, you keep waiting and waiting and you realize they don't. So you kind of throw your shoulders back and stand up straight and go, all right, I guess it's up to me now. I am going to just kind of take the medicine, take one for the team, and do the hard work. And you pick up the mop and the broom and the rag, and you're like, I'm going to do the labor. I'm going to do the chop wood, carry water, kind of Buddhist daily practice, set my ego aside, and do what needs to be done here. And then as soon as you do, you're suddenly rewarded by the universe with some magical serendipitous manifesting. Well, that's how Saturn, the Sun, and Neptune being all together on the stage in our life's movie is going to look in March. You got to swallow your pride, swallow your ego, and do the work. And you might just be surprised with a reward and a gift from the universe. So, first step is put ego and pride aside without making yourself small, though, without diminishing yourself, without wasting your time and energy. So, it's a bit of a cosmic dance, as it always is. It's a delicate dance to make sure you have the right proportions in your recipe. And if you do, can't wait to discover and learn and hear what magical things manifest for you this month. Now, the day before that new moon, and this would be on March 9th, we do have an energetic clash that might actually lead to something of a crisis or a breakdown for you that becomes a breakthrough. I don't really like to use the word crisis. Do not be alarmed. I mean, one of those important crises that makes you look in the mirror and be like, what the hell am I doing here anyway? Get it together, self. So that would be Mars, which is the planet of action. It's an Aquarius. It's going to be in a 90-degree square to Uranus, the planet of sudden changes and unpredictable events and innovation and liberation. So and it's in Taurus, which is about your day-to-day life. So if there's some structure in your day-to-day life that is really due for an upgrade and a new way of thinking, from Mars and Aquarius, the zodiac sign that's ruled by Uranus, well, you're going to experience not being able to sweep it under the rug anymore. Mars is all about action and courage. Uranus is about sudden change. So it is a step on the gas moment. Not totally in sync with the moon, because the day before the new moon is a phase called the balsamic moon, where we're kind of like, do I have to? You know, the energy is low, we're a bit tired, so you're not going to feel like it, but you will be so glad you did. So when you kind of least want to deal with a change, you may have to, but you'll be glad you stepped up and addressed it, because you'll look ahead and be like, oh, wow, thank you, universe, for sending me that sign and forcing me to take action, because that was a decisive move that could have saved the day, right? So if things get a little chaotic, welcome it and just go with it and listen to the message. Your monthly horoscopes on astrostyle.com get into detail for every zodiac sign, and will tell you where this is likely to happen for you based on your sun sign, or if you read for your rising sign as well. So don't worry, we've got you covered as always, and you can find out where you may need to take action and even be proactive about it. You don't have to wait for the planets to come knocking. If you know that's going to happen, be proactive and get ahead of the curve. We don't have to wait here passively. So, speaking of changes, we do have some coming, and that starts with Aries season, the spring equinox, moment of balance, and then eclipse season. So eclipses happen 4 to 6 times a year, and they are like supercharged new and full moons. We'll drop an eclipse explanation post in the show notes. And essentially, they really force our hand, just similar to that Mars-Uranus square on March 9th. There are times when we can no longer ignore the call. We have to take action and meet the moment. So if we meet the moment, then we are usually rewarded. But with eclipses, you don't know exactly how it's going to play out. They kind of throw things into a little bit of a tailspin for 3 to 5 days. It can really take up to a month before and after to manifest. That's something that I learned from our friend Susan Miller of Astrology Zone. She's always written about that for years and years. She was the first astrologer I ever followed online. I know many of you guys do as well. And she always talked about the 1 month window bookending eclipses. And I've really found that to be true. So, you know, you may have already felt something. If you look back to February 25th, where was there change in your life? Where did things start moving? And on March 25th, we have the Libra lunar eclipse. It's a full moon, and it's the culmination of the new moon on October 14th, 2023. That was a time of great chaos, particularly in the Middle East. And we're still in the impact of that. That was a solar eclipse in Libra. So this is the conclusion and the culmination of that. And it's no secret that things over in that part of the world are extremely turbulent. And we're all hoping that a peaceful resolution can be found to end the horror and chaos just that's happening there to everyone who lives there. So we will see what happens at the March 25th eclipse. Now, eclipses always come in pairs. So the second eclipse in this duo is on April 8th. It is an Aries solar eclipse, and that is a big one because there are so many planets in Aries that day. It's together with Chiron, the wounded healer. We have the North Node in Aries, and that is deeply transformational. It's going to be a big one. And solar eclipses are at new moons, so they can bring new beginnings. I'm just hopeful that that one will actually help create some new way, new chapter of moving forward. As an astrologer, I can see all the ways that things could play out from bad to good, but my Sagittarius optimism is always hopeful that humanity and the people who are elevating their consciousness will send enough light and energy into troubled parts of the world so that a miracle can occur. Miracles have occurred throughout history, and if we stop believing that they can, then we're not really doing our part as light workers here. So I will hope that that eclipse brings light into this part of the world, and that the lunar eclipse in Libra, the sign of peace on March 25th, does the same. Now that eclipse, that full moon, is going to be in a favorable trine to Pluto in Aquarius, which is the sign of humanity, society, transformation. Is Pluto, and Aquarius is the sign of groups. So now Pluto does rule the shadow realm, but can that lunar eclipse bring light to the shadows, peace to people? Can we value people and community and everyone's life equally? Will we be awakened to that at this full moon? Again, that's my optimistic spin on it. We are in a cycle of war and peace, self and others, seeing ourselves as independent and separate with the energy of Aries versus oneness, togetherness, or partnership in the energy of Libra. And that's what we're being challenged to do this month. So those are some of the highlights of March. And if you're a fire sign or an air sign, eclipse season is really for you on a personal level about balancing self and other. Where do the boundaries of you and your sovereignty begin and end? And where can you cooperate, partner up, compromise, and work together? If you are an earth or a water sign, this eclipse season is about facts and feelings and balancing those. Where are you to use kind of your head, and where are you to use your heart? Rebalancing between those two is your assignment for this eclipse season that begins March 25th. So wishing you a peaceful, healthy, reflective, and enlightening March. And please join us for Become Your Own Astrologer. If you're listening to this before March 3rd, program starts March 9th. We have 3 levels. Foundations to learn to read charts. Oracles if you also want to learn predictions and timing and relationships. And then our practitioner program, a small limited cohort where you'll be personally mentored to not only become an astrologer who practices, but also how to build a business, market yourself, share your spiritual gifts and technology in a way that's ethical, fulfilling, and profitable. So check out astrostyle.com/BYOA. Get in there in these last couple days, and may your month be peaceful and prosperous.